Hello, my friends. Welcome to this very impromptu live video here on Digital Charcuterie. It's me, Andrew Fantasia, your 45th favorite bald person. Maybe I've moved up in the standings since the last time I saw you. I don't know. I'm really eyeing that 41st spot. I'm telling you that right now. But welcome to Digital Charcuterie. And we just have a treat for you today here. Like I said, totally impromptu. I did not know this was going to happen today, and yet here we are. I sat down this morning thinking I got to get some writing done. I didn't do any writing yesterday, and I have to plug away because I want to stay on top of my own personal quotas. If you don't know what I write fantasy novels. In fact, these are two of my fantasy novels right here. They're called We Were Wizards, and you can find them on Amazon right now. You can get these sexy deluxe hardcovers. You can also get paperbacks, and you can even get ebooks. I am currently putting some plans together to get an audio book out there, but that's going to take some time because I have to do it all myself. And these ain't small books. That's a lot of talking I'm going to have to do, a lot of water I'm going to have to chug. Otherwise, I'm going to have no fluid in my mouth. But yeah, you can get We Were Wizards on Amazon right now. Help support an up-and-coming author and check those out if you love fantasy. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here because as I sat down to write, I was like, oh, I better check my emails because I haven't checked them this morning. And what happened? I saw that there was an email from GameFound. I forgot today was Friday. It's been slow on the uptake front, all quiet on the update front, and I was not expecting an update. And I totally was not thinking of DC Superheroes United, but lo and behold, we got an update. And it is the update I have been most excited for, other than, the one that finally says your game is on the way, because that's, that's the update. But no, we got an update about the promos box. The box art is finally done. I got to look back at my old videos because I remember saying I tried to guess when we would see the art, and I think I guessed March. So I was way off. It's taken a long time, but regardless, here we are. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to look together at what they shared with us today. Here we go. Ba-bam! All right. There is my screen. You know what? Let's see if I can possibly... no, you know what? I don't think I can make it too much bigger. I'm sorry. Last time I tried to do that, and I got myself out of the thing by accident, so I'm not going to mess around with that again. But here we are on the promos box cover, and there is just so much goodness here. So let's scroll down and read this together. Check out that art. Okay, I'm going to do a nice slow reveal for you. Oh, and we have some people in the chat here. Hello, Nelly Nell. Hello, Bang Bang Bang. And hello, Mr. Creed. Welcome. Thanks for joining me, everybody. This is great. I didn't plan this at all. This was just super off the cuff because of this crazy surprise announcement. So here we go. Let's read this together. Heroes Unite. While the molding process is still ongoing, we have just cleared one of the last big hurdles by getting all the print files for the promos box ready, approved, and sent to the factory for e-proofing. I'm imagining that's like normal proofing, but with more E. And that box has a lot of content with over 1,000 cards. Jeez. Print files wise, the only thing we're still working on is laying out all the villain dashboards on the punch boards for the cardboard set. That's it. Wow. It looks like we might be able to sneak in a few extra cardboard mission tiles from expansions. Beautiful. But today we can finally reveal something that has been eagerly awaited, the cover artwork for the promos box. Now, I should mention, when I first saw a little snippet of the artwork, I didn't read the subtitle. I didn't read the caption of this, and it didn't click in for me that this was the promos box. And at first I thought, is that some new expansion? What's going on here? But of course, it's exactly the thing that we've been waiting to see. But here it is at last. Wow. I want to make sure that's showing up nice and clear. Yeah, there it is. It's nice and center. The promos box for DC Superheroes United. And who is taking center stage? It is the Green Arrow. That was one of my guesses for who it might be after I was totally wrong about Supergirl. But I was still wrong because I was like, oh, it's going to be Green Arrow and Black Canary. And then somebody reminded me, Black Canary's not in this box. But yeah, Green Arrow's the perfect choice for the front. He was the oft-requested hero of the box. I love Hawk Girl flying above everything because she's like one of my favorites. Black Manta being the big looming villain is an interesting choice. And I love that Mr. Mixius Pitlick is just off there in the top corner, just doing his thing. That's so cool. That is just a gorgeous box. But let's delve more into what they say about it. So the cover of the box for the stretch goals is always a challenge, with dozens and dozens of characters vying for the spotlight. Edouard Guiton wanted to create a different composition for this one, and so he came up with this striking lineup, split down the middle between the good guys and the bad guys. Georgia Lanza further elevated this layout with her colors, playing with the shadows on the bad side and creating a very cool transition from the blue to the red skies. So another fact that I didn't know about United Art, we all knew Edouard Guiton was the artist, but I didn't know that we have this separate person here, Georgia Lanza, and she's doing colors. So that's cool. There's a little double teaming going on the art front, which is interesting. So now we can add her name to the list of just amazing artists who helped put this game together. But that's so cool. And you got Plastic Man's neck over there. Wonderful. All right. So this is the good guys half, so we can get a closer look at it. And we can see Red Tornado there looking sharp. We can see Stargirl, Deadman. Very nice steel. I love that Martian Manhunter has a nice spot of prominence because I think he deserves it. Mira and Constantine. And there's Firestorm. And I really got to lean in here to see those guys. Because if I am correct, I could be wrong, but I think if you go back and you look at all the Marvel promos boxes, Edouard managed to get every character on the box, even if they're like way in the background. I think that's true. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think every character who's in the box is on the box. And if that's the case, geez, like these things are going to end up looking like Where's Waldo before all said and done. But the fact that we can get a little bit of, there's Blue Beetle and Booster Gold just kind of hiding behind Constantine's jacket collar there. But then there's Swamp Thing, there's Etrigan, and then you go way down the line, you can just see, it's so hard to make out, but there's some people there. I think I see Zatanna. I think I see a top hat. But that's the good guys side of things. And then here's the bad side of the cover with the other side of Hawk Girl and Black Manta and Mixius Pitlick and Zod and Bizarro. And I think that's Cyborg Superman back there. And Despero, Clayface, Reverse Flash, Lobo. Funny how the first villain on the villain side is actually an anti-hero. Oh, excuse me. A dual mode character. And then you can see everybody back there. There's Parallax. Oh, looking great. And Parasite. And I think that's... there's Solomon Grundy. Yeah, they're really squished in back there, but they are there. And they look glorious. And that red lighting on them, aptly scary. I love that Hawk Girl, because she's one of my favorites. I love that it's her who has been chosen to sort of bisect the good and the bad. But it's too bad that Two-Face wasn't in this box, because that would have just been perfection, right? Just have his face up there, boom, the good side and the bad side. I bet you Edouard Guiton was like giving the designers crap, and he's like, why didn't you put Two-Face in this box? Half my work would have been done. So as we see that, we scroll down a bit more, and it just says, we can't wait to see this amazing box on your gaming shelves. What's next in the master plan? And then this might be my favorite part of this update, because as you can see here, there is a look at the box in all its chunky glory. And unfortunately, sorry, I'm just zooming in here. I don't mean to lean in this close to the camera, but I want to see what that says. And I think it's just promos. It says promos, yeah. Unfortunately, the update does not tell us the dimensions of this box. Usually CMON's pretty good with that. They let you know ahead of time, like that Galactus box is going to be yay high, everybody. So I need to check the comments and see if anybody has asked this and if maybe they've answered. But just looking at the box, I assume this is a mock-up. I don't think they have the actual cardboard physical box in front of them yet. But just looking at how the mock-up looks, this is a big box. And if we go back and we think of what's in there, and in fact, I think I'm going to open up another quick little tab here that you might not be able to see, and I apologize, but it's just sort of for my own curiosity here. I don't even think I have it on this computer. No, I don't think I do. Never mind. But I think this promos box contains roughly the same amount of figures and cards as the Multiverse promos box. And if that's the case, we can expect the box to be roughly that same girth. And that box is a big booty boy. That box is taking up some space. Its milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. And I am so excited for that, because that's just a giant box of DC toys that I can't wait to play with. And I'm going to scroll down here really quick and see what the comments section is saying. People are saying it looks amazing. I wonder if anybody has said anything about the box dimensions. I'm just going to quickly scroll through this, but no, it does not look like we are seeing dimension love happening. But you know what? That is okay. That is okay. Mostly, though, I'm just so happy to see this announcement because of the fact that the board game world, the board game industry, particularly the cool mini or not side of the board game industry, has been a little bit scary and depressing of late with everything that's been going on. And I have had to temper my own excitement for the game, because I've been in that little bit of limbo where I'm just like, there's a chance I might not get this game. There's a chance backers might not get any DC United. And that horrifies me and saddens me. And you know, all of this stuff is just a bummer when you hear about people losing their jobs and all that stuff, and, you know, paying money for games that they never get. It's rough. So I had to calm myself down. As you've all seen watching me throughout the past couple of years, I get really excited for United games, and the excitement was going to be a double-edged sword, because if the game ended up, you know, touch wood, this never happens, but if it ended up never come to fruition, I would have just been crushed. I would have been crushed. So I had to stop myself and say, Andrew, think about other things. Think about other things. That's it. And that sort of, it derailed me a bit in a good way. It just kept me on a different track so that I wasn't always thinking about United, which is my default setting. So I've been keeping myself at a distance from this just in case, because I don't want to get hurt again. I can't get hurt again. And to have this update come out and present itself with this box art, which is one of the things I was looking forward to the most. You know what it is? It's a spark of hope. It is a spark of hope. I get excited seeing any new box art for any new CMON game, even games that I don't care to play. Lately, we had this whole issue with Zombicide and how Zombicide has been sold to Asmodee board games. I played Zombicide version 1, the very first one where all the different humans had all the different colors back in the day. And I'm not a zombie fan. So I played the game a couple times. My friend had it, and I was like, this is fun, but I would never buy it. But I know there's a bunch of Zombicide fans out there. And I get excited for you when new Zombicide stuff drops. When White Death dropped and I saw the box art for White Death, I was like, that's pretty. I could just look at this box art. That's the power of a good CMON game and good art on the CMON games and just what they do to me. And I will never buy a Zombicide game, but I will watch their unboxings with glee and be like, whoa, look at all those survivors. Look at all those samurais and stuff. It makes me happy. It makes me happy to see other people enjoying those games. So when I heard about Asmodee buying Zombicide, I was like, oh, well, maybe this is okay in the long run because we're still getting Zombicide for those who want it. I don't think Asmodee is going to buy it if they're not going to do anything with it. And hopefully that helps get United to more people's tables. There was also, I can't remember the company now, but there was another company that bought a bunch of CMON properties, including Arcadia Quest, which was my first CMON game. And it was my first ever board game that I ever crowdfunded. And I really like Arcadia Quest. I really dig that. And I think there's a lot of material there, but there could always be a little bit more. And maybe now we might get more Arcadia Quest. So I'm hoping that all of these buyouts, which normally I'm not a fan of when buyouts happen because it's always a bummer, but hopefully these mean that there is a future for these games and that the fans who want more will be able to get more. And most importantly for me and for this channel here, that means that United can continue to be a thing. And that means everybody who put their faith and their love and their cash into DC Superheroes United will still be able to have that joyous moment when those giant cardboard boxes arrive on their doorstep and they can crack it open and they can see this box art with friggin' Hawk Girl halfway between good and evil and just have the time of their lives. And I can sit there and I can unbox it and do a video and then put everything into sleeves and just have a joyous night of that. Maybe all of these things will lead to all of those good things down the line. So I am cautiously optimistic, and I'm very happy to see this progress report because I think it's a step in the direction we all want this whole thing to take, isn't it? But that'll do it for what we wanted to talk about today. This is a very short update, but it's mostly about the art. I do want to just quickly go over again to reiterate some of the things they said here about the print files, because that is a nice thing to know. Is that the only print file they're still working on is getting the villain dashboards on the punch boards for the cardboard set. So that is pretty much the end of the line when it comes to those print proofs. So that means the promos box, which is a big hurdle because they say here it has the most, all those proofs have been approved and sent to the factory for e-proofing, which means I think they can start printing now. If not now, then soon. So with that being the case, we are on our way to some good things, I think. This makes me so happy. But now I want to turn it over to you, and I want to know how you all feel about this DC Superheroes United art, how you all feel about what's been going on with CMON and Asmodee and Zombicide and Arcadia Quest and Starcadia Quest, because I'm sure that has fans too. Tell me what that's feeling for you, and tell me where you're at, and tell me who your favorite character is on this box art, because man, I could look at this for hours. I cannot wait to see what the dimensions are like. Anybody from CMON, if you're watching, if you know the dimensions, and it might be too early in the game, but if you know the dimensions, let us know. But that'll do it here today on Digital Charcuterie, as we continue to make the wait for DC Superheroes United a little bit shorter and a whole lot sweeter. All right, everybody. See you next time. Bye-bye.